I want to thank you for joining us in the 11 Breaking News Center. I'm Lauren Watson, your digital anchor here at KKTV 11 News. I'm here today with Pat Craig, the executive director at the Wild Animal Sanctuary here in Colorado. Pat, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Now, I know that you guys have recently taken in a little bit of a special new addition to you guys' team. Can you maybe tell me a little bit about the process that it took for you guys to get Henrietta to Colorado?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Henrietta was known as Hank the Tank in California because they didn't know what sex she was at the time, but she gained quite a following because she was breaking into a lot of houses around the Reno, um, Nevada and California area where she was Lake Tahoe, and so she'd broken into a lot of homes over the time, and so it became apparent that they were going to have to either euthanize her or find a place for her to go. So California Fish and Game contacted the Colorado's Parks and Wildlife and requested the approval to be able to send her to our sanctuary, which we have a refuge in southern Colorado that's 10,000 acres and it's all forested, and we have big natural habitats there where she could go.
And so, how's she been adjusting so far?
She's doing really well. I'm considering, she was a wild bear and used to her freedom. So when she was caught by the California Fish and Game, we went out there and immediately picked her up so she wouldn't have to stay in a cage very long, and then drove her back here to Colorado to our facility. And what we do is we have a 230-acre habitat for her to live in. And so we put in a small temporary enclosure inside of that so it wouldn't be overwhelming for her to transfer it into a big space too quickly. And that gives her a chance to, get the sights and the sounds and the smells and get used to knowing that food's delivered every day. And then, so she'll be released within the next couple of days down there into that 230-acre habitat.
Now, you kind of talked a little bit about what the immediate future looks like for her. Moving forward, what does the future look like for Henrietta here in Colorado?
Well, she'll have a really good life. I mean, obviously, it's not the same as the wild, but it's pretty close to it. It's a forested habitat. She gets all the food delivered every day. There's other black bears in there that she can hang out with. And most people don't know that black bears and most bears are very social if they can afford to be near each other. Most of the time, they're so short on food they can't really live in groups. But when they do have food delivered regularly, then they become very social and actually like to hang out together. So she's got future friends that she'll be hanging out with for the rest of her life there, and getting her food delivered until she gets old and goes into like assisted living.
Now, Pat, what's it been like for your team to kind of take in this? She's kind of a celebrity. What's it been like for you guys on that end?
Well, she definitely has a big following with people and news media, and everybody's interested in her story. So it's been interesting to see how much notoriety she has. But she's also one of many bears. We have over 250 bears in between our facilities, and so we're used to having bears come in, just not more famous bears. And so she's getting a little bit of extra attention right now, but she'll eventually get over that, be out there and more living back in the natural way.
It's awesome. Well, those are all of the prepared questions I had for you. Is there anything else you wanted to really elaborate on, or anything I didn't think to ask about that you really wanted to make sure people knew?
Yeah, I think it's important that people understand that, there's every state that has bears, bears get into trouble between people, and it's always about food, breaking into garages or trash or whatever. And most bears don't get this chance. She's a really rare exception to be able to be saved and go to a sanctuary. Most people need to really realize that the vast majority of bears get put down when they have a strike or two strikes, and so it's sad because of course all it takes is people to be responsible with their trash. And but for in her situation, she would have been put down had she not had the following she did. So she's lucky to have that opportunity to have a second chance. And I think it's just important for people to realize they got to be responsible so that these bears don't end up being put down all the time.
I guess based on that, I have one more follow up for you. How does it feel to know that you're able to give animals like this, who may not have gotten a second chance, to give them that second chance?
Yeah, I mean, that's our whole mission here is to give animals that were going to be scheduled to be euthanized or had nowhere else to go a second chance at life. And so we're really glad that we had that opportunity for Henrietta and the other animals that we do support here. And so it's important to us that those animals don't, kind of get the short end of the stick by their interaction with people.